this next game is a game that matters really, I mean, just exponentially for both of these teams. Chargers and Vikings, both 0-2. The loser becomes 0-3 and perhaps misses out on the playoffs.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness gracious. These two teams are just disappointing.
Yeah, with Minnesota, with Justin Jefferson having that touchback when their offense was moving down the field. Yeah, this is a really big game for both teams. I like the Chargers more as a team, but I think Minnesota probably can win this game. The Vikings running game is non-existent. I'm sorry. I don't understand why they thought that Alexander Mattison was going to be the guy that can handle all those touches. Because, yeah, he was good when Dalvin Cook was hurt, but now he's going to be the lead rusher for this team. I don't know. His quickness isn't there. It's just a weird situation there. But I think the Vikings will win. It's just been pretty brutal, and the Chargers' problems continue to persist from last year.
I'd like to see Justin Herbert come up with some clutchness here in this game. We have not had... We are really lacking in Justin Herbert moments to point to lately in the recent games that he's played that make me confident in his ability here. Not saying that Justin Herbert is not a good quarterback. I am well aware that he is a quality arm for the Chargers, but it just seems like ever since that Jacksonville game in the playoffs that the Chargers and Justin Herbert himself have not been able to, come up with that last drive to really, they've had 2 chances in the last 2 games Justin Herbert and that offense has to go out there and win the game in a clutch spot in the fourth quarter or overtime, and they haven't.
Yeah, I mean, and kind of looking at this Vikings team, I guess on the other side of the conversation, right? I mean, this Vikings team has had such a good foundation on offense and especially defense. I mean, let's not forget the Vikings defense from a couple years ago was really solid, but their offense, Kirk Cousins has been there for who knows how long. They've seen the likes of Adam Thielen come through. TJ Hawkinson is now there. Obviously, Thielen's no longer there, but Justin Jefferson is their main guy there. Had Dalvin Cook. No more Dalvin Cook. Alexander Madison's now RB1. But this team, no matter how much you give them, no matter what names are on the depth chart starting each week, they can't put it together. And, I think we're finally seeing... So I feel like the Vikings at the end of every season, they wallow away in a really lame way. They limp to the end of the season, maybe get into the playoffs, maybe not, but whatever it is, it's a disappointing end. This is that starting the season. It's not what I thought at all of what Minnesota could do to start the season, but at the same time, I'm not shocked about this start.
Yeah, and the Chargers are really going to be missing Austin Eckler because he's such a big part of this offense. I don't know if he is playing or not, but Minnesota's run defense just got shredded by DeAndre Swift, who to me is not that great.
Really?
I don't think he's that good. I think, yes, I will give him credit. He had 175 yards, but his reads, his ability to see openings is not always at an NFL running back level, in my opinion. I think that's why Detroit got rid of him. But yeah, their defense, run defense got shredded, Minnesota's, so that's kind of a weakness there. And I'm sure they miss Austin Eckler. They have Joshua Kelly there, but yeah.
It's looking not good for Eckler from what I've seen for him playing this week for all you fantasy heads, so just watch out for that. And Chargers fans, I guess. The Vikings, back to your point, Ian, and this will be the final thing I think we say here about this game, is that it kind of shows you for a team that played on the margins a lot last year. A lot of one-score wins, a lot of, relying on some things that might not be in their control, the ball to bounce the right way for them, that sometimes you can get those violent swings back and forth. It's much like a baseball team who wins a lot of one-run games or loses a lot of one-run games. It's not very indicative of how good or bad they are as a team. They're probably more somewhere in the middle, but when you play so much on those margins and you play so much on the edge, sometimes you're just not, the ball's not going to bounce the right way for you. And in a sport where it's an oblong ball that literally bounces in different directions every single time, it's sometimes not going to fall the right way for you. And that's kind of what we're seeing from the Vikings. They haven't necessarily played bad. They also haven't necessarily played good. They're just not getting the breaks, much like they did last season.